Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back, or welcome to Indie Please Details, episode 31. My name's Keegan, one half of Love 2 Gamers. Hanging out with Tom. How you doing?
I'm good. It's a weird start to the day. My ceiling fell down.
Yeah. We also realized last week why the audio sucked, because Tom was turning audio up instead of down. Yeah. Even though I said turn my audio down, he said it's upside down.
Let me explain. So when I go to the camera, I have to look over it to the other side.
Or he could walk around to the other side.
Or I could walk around, but I didn't. And so for me, it looked like pushing it to minimum was the way I was pushing it. And guess what? It turns out it wasn't.
You're pushing it to maximum.
I was pushing it to maximum, which is why it was blown out. This is all my fault.
Yeah.
It's fixed this week. It's better now.
Yeah.
Say something.
I have been.
There you go.
I don't know what you. I don't know what you want to say. I've been saying it.
There you go. So yeah, no. Other than my ceiling falling down and realizing my stupidity, it's been all right. It's been all right today.
It's been a day. We're starting. The day's it's young, Tom. It's young. There's
It is
still time.
young. It is young.
Still time.
The day's young. Plenty of time to do stupid.
But this is Indie Please Details, our weekly dip in the indie world, or game of indie worlds, world of indie games, the game of indie worlds, world of indie games and indie developers, where we discuss the news and our indie excursions throughout the week. Topping it all off with a topic discussion, which I am very excited to talk about today, that you can join in the comments down below. You can listen to us on your favorite podcast services, Google Play, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. I think that's it.
All of the above.
Or any of the above.
Mm.
And go ahead and put a rating on there if you do listen to us. I'd love to know what you guys think. You can see our lovely faces at level2gamers.com, along with our cool little layout we got going on. If you are an audio listener, just peek over there, even if you don't want to watch the whole thing, just to see what it looks like, because you do get a more visually exciting experience. Yeah. Obviously, because audio, there's no visuals.
Well, I think a lot of it is for the audio listeners. Like, and by the way, thank you if you do listen on audio, because honestly,
there's quite a few of them.
There's a lot of stuff that I think really only works well with video. So it's kind of interesting that our base is as good as it is for audio.
It's actually our audio listeners outnumber our video watchers.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. Yeah. But if you watch the video, the nice part about that, if you have the opportunity to do it, is that you do have this screen, and I'm talking to the audio listeners, people watching on the video, you can obviously see this, but we have this screen in between.
Which it's on your side, right? No, the screen's here.
It's in the middle.
I thought you were talking about the overlay.
No, yeah, the overlay,
too.
Is one thing, but but this behind us will show actual footage of the games we're talking about, and we put a lot of time and effort into making it kind of interesting. There's nothing on there right now. It's just our logo.
I don't know where to look. Fun fact, it's just green behind us.
It's right about here.
So honestly, it's right here. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's kind of nice, because as we're going through and maybe we're discussing a spotlight or something, then you can actually watch the gameplay of the thing we're talking about, and that hopefully helps it make more sense when we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, try and do it.
Yeah. You can also follow us on Twitter.
Yep.
At Level2GamersSTL, on Instagram at Level2GamersSTL, and hit us up on Discord.
Pretty much anything.
Link in the description, because Discord does not allow you to do special links. I've said this before, but I probably will just do a discord.level2gamers.com to make it way easier.
Yeah.
Might make it easier.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's jump in, as we always do, with the new releases, sorry. The news releases. I'm off my game right now.
That's okay. We had
a weird thing. So the new games on Xbox, because we always start with them. Game number 1 is actually coming out on both Xbox, PS4, and also on PC, so Switch doesn't get it.
Boo.
I don't think it'd run well on the Switch, based on what I've seen. Okay. But it is our spotlight, so I don't want to go too in-depth on it. But Mothergunship. Mothergunship mixes bullet hell intensity with the FPS genre and promises one of the largest gun customization options seen in games. Want to build a gun with 15 barrels that will cover all sides of the screen? Or do you prefer a shotgun that can shoot bouncing spike balls? Go for it. The design of your destruction arsenal is in your hands.
Interesting concept, isn't it?
I love it. Like I said, I'm gonna talk a little bit more in depth during the spotlight later on during the episode, but I can tell you right now, spoiler alert, it's a fun game.
Spoiler alert. It's
Mothergunship's out. Like I said, PS4 and Xbox this week, and PC. No Switch love.
Graphically quite impressive too.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll get in some of that later. The next one, Tempest 4000.
It's over 4,000.
Tempest 4000 describes itself as faithful to the original fast-paced gameplay while adding exciting new features and gorgeous graphics.
Now, this is the Atari one, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you think there's 4,000 of them since it's the spiritual successor?
I mean, since Atari's making it, possibly.
With 3 game modes to choose from and 100 levels to conquer, you must eliminate all enemies and as quickly as possible to survive, aiming for the coveted spot at top of the leaderboards.
Shades of Polybius.
Yeah, it reminds me of an arcade game, which is, I mean, Atari.
Hyper visual.
Yeah.
It's just like there's, you know what? Even watching the trailer, you're not really sure how to play the game, which is like good and bad. I mean, it usually means that when you actually do play the game, it'll be fun. But
it's a gameplay addiction thing versus
it's like a one more try thing as opposed to like necessarily like anything niche. But it's interesting. Yeah.
Next one coming out this week, Adventure Time, The Pirates of Enchiridion. I don't watch Adventure Time.
I don't either, but I listened to the trailer and he said Enchiridion, I think.
Ahoy! Yeah. The land of Ooh is underwater, and it's up to Finn and Jake to find out why.
I've never watched this show, but that's so funny.
Join our heroes as they explore the high seas, search for hidden clues, interrogate shady suspects, and fight pirates to solve mysteries and save their waterlogged world. This looks like I'd said it when we were watching the trailer earlier. This looks like a generic kind of like licensed 3D exploration game.
I'm
not an Adventure Time fan, so it doesn't pull me in with that.
Me either. Not that I'm not a fan. I've never really sat down and watched it.
I've tried, and
it looks like a turn-based combat system with like normal, I guess, 3D like travel.
Yeah.
But it kind of has shades of the South Park games, and especially because the animation level of it is like pretty spot on for the show. So it's $40 if I remember correctly. So I would say it's probably one of those like, yeah, if you're a fan, you probably love it. If you're not a fan, then probably not worth it. Yeah. I mean, or wait for a sale or something. But it didn't look bad. It just looked.
To me, it looked generic. Yeah, there wasn't anything outside. If you took the skin away from the game, there wasn't much going on.
Like with the South Park games, like they went through a lot of effort in making those games a little bit more than what they needed to be.
Even if you took the South Park skin away and you kept the powers in there, it would still be a good game.
Right, exactly. So I think they're less gamey and more just like, let's make something based on the show.
Yeah.
As opposed to South Park.
The next one, and again, spoiler alert, we're going to have 2 spotlights today. This is the other one.
Exciting.
The Path of Motus. For generations, a village of goblins has been trapped inside a mysterious forest. Anyone who attempts to leave returns hopeless and defeated. Determined to break new ground, a young goblin named Motus plans to build a series of bridges through the forest. Will you find your way through life's forest? Or, like the others, be lost in the depths with no will to continue.
Oh,
so this is, and again, I'm going to get a little bit more during the spotlight, but this is basically, it's a story-driven game. The developer is a local St. Louis developer. We're actually going to go see him at Pixel Pop in, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is at this point?
2.
It's not that far away.
2.
But this is a very personal story that he wrote here. It's about life and overcoming it, and there's some aspects of bullying in there.
There's undertones of bullying, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Because
the
enemies are actually like yelling words at you.
Yeah,
you have to deflect. So there's definitely kind of a lot of
people. It's basically
going
people
on.
telling you to. It's all the voices coming at you, telling you to stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's all the haters, as the kids say.
There's a ton of metaphor to it.
So we're gonna get more into that again during the spotlight. But again, spoiler alert, I thought this was pretty solid. Buggsters, poor PlayStation. Trailer was wrong. If you go to the PlayStation store right now for Buggsters, it's the trailer for Mothergunship.
And all the artwork too.
Yes.
Oh man, that sucks.
Buggsters. Aliens have taken over the planet and enslaved humanity. Only you have the know-how to drive back the dastardly threat, free your fellow Earthlings, and save the world. Mugsters is a physics-based, supercharged, action-packed puzzler with sandbox levels where you can outrun, outmaneuver, and outsmart your enemies by experimenting with different vehicles, environmental traps, and explosives. First of all, how many adjectives were in that sentence?
Lots.
This game it's a cool concept. It looks interesting. It's about solving puzzles with environmental destruction. It reminds me a little bit of what was the game we played at Indie? Smarts. A little bit of Smarts where you learn things about your environment and you can stop things that way. I don't know. It's one of those games like I don't want to say it's bad because I haven't played it. It looked interesting, but I don't know how long it'll grip you.
Right.
If that makes sense.
You don't know what the longevity is.
Yeah, it's one of those games that I'm probably going to jump in and play for a few times, and then it might be one of those games that like the palate cleanser in between
either grabs
things.
you or it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those.
Yeah.
Either you're going to like play it for 20 minutes and then think this is the greatest thing ever, or you're going to play it for 20 minutes and think, why did I waste $15 or however much it is?
I believe you played this next game, The Long Reach.
I did. Wow, it's finally out.
The Long Reach takes place in New Hampshire in the fictional town of Barvox. I'm gonna say it's Barvox. I'm gonna guess it's French. Barvox. This action adventure game draws its inspiration from Lone Survivor and The Cave and classic adventure games. You don't just play in a post-apocalyptic world or explore a fairy-filled fantasy world. You're in the thick of it, just around the corner from the place where you buy your groceries.
It's proper weird.
Put it on the box.
That's
it's
about
proper weird.
Yeah, that's about as. By all means, quote me on that. No, it's a great game. Actually, it's super mental. There's like a lot of. I don't mean mental like crazy, although it is a little crazy at times. It's super mental in terms of like the puzzles and things like that are really like not straightforward. There's a lot of kind of like trial and error and just like maybe this would work. Let's see. But yeah, great game. Solidly gripped me for a long time. Had a really good time playing it. You can see the gameplay on the channel. I may have reviewed it. I think I did. I don't remember.
I think you did.
But yeah, The Long Reach. I do highly recommend that game. I would like to see it on Switch as well. But nice that it's made it to the Xbox.
The Moose Man. You are the Moose Man, and you can see all that is hidden to the mortal eye. Ooh. Embark on an adventure where you visit the 3 layers of the universe. The first layer is the lower world, where the spirits and the dead reside. I'm guessing similar to hell. Welcome to a mysterious world of an ancient myth.
I'm down.
So we both got keys to this.
I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it. I played like the first few minutes to kind of see, because spoiler alert, gonna pull the curtain back here. This week we got a bunch of keys.
We did,
and we were trying to figure out what we wanted to play. So
And we're kind of, I mean, I'm going to throw this out there mid-podcast. It's a weird thing to talk about, but we kind of have been debating making our podcast bi-monthly just so we can handle
all the keys
that we're getting. Because I feel always like I'm doing a disservice when I don't really sit down and spend the time. You know, like a lot of our spotlights.
Like for me, Mothergunship, I played a lot because I enjoyed that game, and Path of Motus I played a lot. I haven't finished either of them because of the time.
I feel bad about not finishing games, but at the same time, like we don't have time to do it, so we can only make our impressions after playing like a certain way in. So I think having an extra week in between, and then like the podcast would be more sort of action packed and long, and
then
cool.
you can also play on your off days without recording.
Right, exactly.
Feel the pressure of playing well.
Yeah. Not that I ever feel that pressure anyway.
I do. You know how many times I re-record something because I died too many times?
Never re-record, ever.
Especially when you're doing platform.
Edit them out. Edit the deaths out.
Well, like a puzzler, you're just like, oh.
No, because you always like, because when you die, well, a puzzle is bad, but like a Doom...
Like Path of Motus.
I have a complete gameplay thing of Doom VFR. I edited out every death, so it's like a solid playthrough, because like there's this like perfect fade out point where you would never know that it's been edited. It's just like goes to black, and then like it just starts from black, so it just like can't tell. But oh my god, like so much editing to get that game down to a decent time. But yeah, I don't give a shit.
So Moose Man comes out this week. I'm hoping to play in the next week or so.
Yeah, I dig everything about this, so I'm excited to give it a try.
Another game we got a key for way back in the day. It's now out on Xbox. Nidhogg Tools.
Still not played this.
The sequel to the indie hit of 2014, Nidhogg 2 builds upon the award-winning gameplay of its predecessors, with new weapons to wield and levels to master. Head-to-toe character customization and captivatingly grotesque art of Toby Dixon. This game is a lot of fun. I still want to play this game. Like, one of the things also, if we did like bi-weekly, we could have meetings and actually do like Let's Plays on those days off too. And I want to do like couch co-op like we used to, and
I do miss
just literally just playing together, yelling at each other. Like competitive couch co-op, I think would be a lot of fun. Or Overcooked, when Overcooked 2 comes out, like playing that.
Oh god.
Those, yeah. He's having PTSD flashbacks.
Like the helicopters.
But this is a perfect game. Like I highly recommend if you don't have this. It came out on PS4 a few months ago, but now it's on Xbox. Pick it up. I think it's actually part of Games Pass if I remember correctly, which is kind of cool. I don't know for sure, but I want to say it is. Something in my brain is saying that it is. But this is a lot of fun, especially if you have somebody to play with. Basically, what it is you're facing each other at the beginning and the middle of the screen, and then you have a certain amount of screens on either side. You've got to get to the other person's side, but you have swords and weapons and all this kind of stuff to kill them in the process. So it's a lot of cat and mouse.
It does sound fun.
Stuff. It's a lot of fun. And it's very gory, but it's a pixelated gore, so it's like a fun gore, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like
cartoon gore.
Yeah, I don't like realistic gore because I don't like grotesque things. but the cartoon gore is a lot
missing
of
out
fun.
so much in life.
No.
You really are.
Speaking of gore,
I was going to say, speaking of gore.
Guts and Glory, a game about a father and son riding their bicycle through an obstacle course of death and other fun family experiences, dodging spinning saw blades, deathly spikes, explosives, turrets, and a growing list of other hazards while navigating the insane track set in a wide variety of environments.
Nice.
Have you ever seen this game?
I've not seen anything about this.
Do you know the game Happy Wheels?
Yeah.
This is Happy Wheels in 3D. Is the best way I can explain it.
Sweet.
So yeah, it's Happy Wheels has a bunch of shit that flies at you. This has a bunch of shit that flies at you. It doesn't control the greatest on PC. I've not played it.
So I have this weird thing, right? And people sort of judge me for it, and I don't give a shit.
A lot of people judge you for a lot of
I
things.
don't care what people think about me. But I like it when a game is not afraid to kill a child. I know that sounds really bad coming out of my mouth, but like there's so many games. Like for the longest time, even like Bethesda games, like they wouldn't put kids in the game, but so that people wouldn't kill the kids. But I'm just like, you know what? Sometimes in real life, kids die. And I would like the opportunity to potentially witness that and or cause it. So when it comes to games like Skyrim and stuff like that...
Do not endorse.
I'm not saying go out and kill kids. All I'm saying is, in video games, maybe don't be such a prude about it. It's just what it boils down to. I really like extreme stuff, man. And I just feel like that's like... The first thing I did there's the Brotherhood, the Dark Brotherhood quest, where there's a kid that's like praying to the Dark Brotherhood for you to come and assassinate his family or something. As soon as I assassinated his family and I come back to him, he's like 8-year-old kid or something, and he's like, "Yeah, thank you. You listened to my prayers." It's like arrow through the forehead. Don't pray to the Dark Brotherhood.
Lessons,
life
animals.
lessons.
I'm an animal killer.
I can't kill animals, see, but I can kill kids.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Yeah, you're sick and twisted.
Yeah.
Frost. Frost is a deck-building solo survival card game set on a harsh, frozen world ravaged by a lethal storm. You must lead a group of nomads in search of refuge. Why is refuge capitalized? I don't know. Oh, the refuge. Maybe it's the name of a place. And battle the unrelenting threat of the frost. Your trek will be full of dangers like wolves, cannibals, Tom's favorite,
Yay.
hunger, and fatigue, Tom's least favorite. Manage your cards wisely to stay alive and make it all the way to the refuge.
You nailed it, yeah. Like cannibals, don't like hunger and fatigue. Should probably eat more people. Solve both problems.
This is a card game. We both kind of talked about it before the podcast. Like, card games are cool, but like at the same time, it's just like you're so niche that indie devs probably don't really have a chance.
Basically, like Hearthstone, Gwent, Elder Scrolls Legends, those things are making money off the back of the fact they're tied to something else. So Hearthstone makes money off the fact it's based to basically Blizzard's entire like catalog, but mostly World of Warcraft. And then you have
Frost is
Gwent
not tied to anything.
Witcher, Elder Scrolls. So making an indie card game, brave choice. I commend them for trying. I don't know how successful it'll be purely based
maybe
off
if they
the
made
fact
it physical
is a niche.
and digital.
That's
I would love a dev to do a double pack. That's what we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it the indie card double pack.
Sure, why not?
Dolings. Dolings brings unique gameplay mechanics through its interesting characters while combining the best of Arkanoid games have to offer. Polished with a modern look and a design. Don't let Morpheus lose his ball and try to clear the screen with everything you got. It's one of those shooty games.
It looks like Puyo Puyo.
No, it's one of
those characters look exactly like the little Puyo Puyo things.
It's one of those shooty games where you gotta knock things down.
Yeah.
Like pop adventure, pop time.
Yeah.
Pop time.
Bubble.
Pop bubble
whatever.
time. Pop the bubble.
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 We
wobble, but don't fall over.
Bubble.
But that's new on Xbox this week.
You know what I just remembered? Rainbow Islands. You ever play that?
No.
Rainbow Islands is a fucking amazing platform game. You could create rainbows that were platforms.
And you put them on islands?
And then you could also hide under them. So if someone was like trying to kill you, you could hide under the rainbow that you just created. But then you could also use them as stairs to climb up to the next level. It's amazing. They should remake Rainbow Islands. Do it. So, Xbox done. Moving on.
Mothergunship Tempest 4000.
Tempest
4000. Adventure Time, the Pirates of Encuriran.
Pirates of the...
whatever the name of the town is.
Yeah.
Path of Motus, Buggsters, The Long Reach, The Moose Men, Nidhogg 2, Guts and Glory, Frost, and Dolings. It's a pretty solid week.
Massive indie week.
It's a pretty solid week.
Lots of games that have been kind of long time coming.
The only big games that are coming out that came out for Switch is Captain Toad came out and
Octopath Traveler.
That's it, but that's still technically an indie game.
Captain Toad is only $40 though, digitally, which I thought was
but Captain Toad is an amazing game if you like puzzles.
I haven't played it yet.
You probably won't like it.
I got the demo to try it first.
You won't like it.
Yeah, I didn't think I would. That's why I bought Octopath instead.
New on PlayStation, The Adventure Time.
Pirates of the Midichlorians.
The Midichlorians. Black Odyssey, PS4 digital.
Now, let's stop for a second.
Hold on, let me read the description first before you go into it.
Go on.
The hunt is on. Get ready to battle colossal space monsters in Black Sea Odyssey. Savage, top-down, roguelite, shoot-'em-up, RPG.
Catch the T there. It was roguelite.
Yeah, roguelite. Shoot-'em-up, RPG.
Aside from the fact that it looks hard as balls, I like this. You didn't like it so
I didn't
much.
like it at all.
I thought it looked great. Mostly because a lot of
Art
it
style's cool looking.
is, it's like Lovecraftian. There's lots of like tentacle monsters and stuff. And when you shoot
and
things,
Zeus in the middle.
why not? Pirate Zeus.
Yeah.
When you shoot things, they like they split open. It's like gore and stuff. Like the monsters, like tentacles fall off and like there's like bones poking out of the hole and stuff. So I thought that was kind of neat. It does look like it would drive me fucking mad. I know that, and I know that I would be frustrated with it within 10 minutes. But at the same time, I think that if you're looking for like an interesting kind of like Stardust's type shooter, looks pretty good. I thought cheap too. It's only $10, 10 thereabouts.
Chicken Assassin.
This was interesting.
Reloaded. Chicken Assassin is a fast-paced action RPG with an outrageous storyline filled with over-the-top humor that boasts a myriad of colorful enemies, visually stunning levels, and environments.
You know,
Did you like that? I kept it the whole time, didn't fuck it up.
I appreciate it.
I was impressed.
You should do that more often.
Trust me, if I could, I would.
But the
trailer.
The
so,
man with a chicken head thing is weird.
Let's talk about.
Make you feel uncomfortable? Make you feel
No,
uncomfortable?
like that. I was like, okay, man, chicken with a gun. I was all for it. I was all for it until I saw the trailer, and the trailer's weird.
The trailer is weird. They basically got their mate's metal band to make a song about the chicken.
Which the song
assassin.
was catchy as hell.
Well, it's fucking Old MacDonald, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a repurposed Old MacDonald.
Yes, but it felt like the gameplay was. I don't know. It didn't match.
I couldn't make out what the gameplay really was.
You had 450 items, and
that I remember.
There's something else that popped up on
other
screen at
catchy
one point.
things. But
Yeah.
I mean, basically, like the trailer is purposefully over the top, and it is good. It is a good trailer. But it's like I think there could have been more focus, perhaps,
on the game
less
itself,
jump cuts and flames, and more on actually like what am I doing.
So from a perspective of grabbing your attention, did a great job.
Oh yeah.
On the perspective of selling what it was trying to grab your attention for,
less is so.
Not as good.
Yeah, I'm not shitting on it. Not played it. Might be great, but I don't know that, and I probably won't because
Chicken Assassin
I didn't
Reloaded.
see any gameplay that that I could like actually understand what was going on.
Yeah, there was gameplay.
It just looked like a
behind.
chicken standing still punching people for 3 minutes.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Frost is coming out on PS4 as well. Gene Rain. Death.
Terrible marketing.
Death is always fair. He treats both the poor and the rich equally. This is the concept of Death Squad. Fight to the end. Wait, fight to the end. The conflicts afflicting the whole
Fighting to
world.
end the conflict.
That's it. I can read.
There you go.
I screwed up.
That's all right.
But this one, this picture, and I told you this before. If you go to the drop, click on the link, go to Gene Rain, and look at the picture.
Yeah, you have
and
to
then
look
go look at the
drop.
trailer.
We're gonna have a trailer here.
Yeah.
But the picture
It's a dude
from
sitting
the
in a
drop
chair with
looks
a
like,
flaming skull behind him.
what's his name? Like fucking Mr. X or whatever from Mass Effect. Basically, it's just like some dude with a big exploding planet behind him in a chair.
When I saw the image, I go, "Ooh, this looks like a Tom game." Because if I just showed you this, I would say you're interested in whatever the hell's going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Then I saw the trailer, and it's a third person shooter.
It's a Gears of War ripoff.
Yeah, it was not the.
I don't like to
match.
say ripoff because it might not have same mechanics, but it's that style of game, and it looks. And it doesn't look bad by any means. It doesn't.
No, it looked pretty
It looked
polished.
fine.
It
It's
just was not what I
like
expected.
the marketing is just like ass backwards. I think like they're pushing it as something that it's not, and they should be focusing on
The shooter aspects.
yeah, like what makes it different to everything else I've seen here. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, he always treats the rich and the poor equally. That's different.
I guess. Yeah. but yeah, it doesn't look bad by any means. I just, again, it's a case of like mistaken identity almost. I looked at that picture and, I was like, yeah, all in. Watch a trailer, all out.
Yep.
So, sorry.
Gotcha Racing Second. Not two, second.
A fucking terrible name.
PS4 out digital 7/19.
We really need to sit some of these indie devs down and just be like, hey, so whatever you're about to do, stop.
Rename it.
And help us, like, fix your shit.
Get parts from Gotcha. It's Gotcha. It's not even spelled the same way. And customize your own original machine. Win a variety of races and aim to the top of the Grand Prix. Looks like a generic top-down racer. Like, yeah. I watched the trailer for this, was not thrilled. Like, meh, it's whatever. This is a skip.
This is a game that you need to make it stand out because your game. It might be
called
a
Gotcha
wonderful
Racing
game.
Second.
It might be a wonderful game. It really might be.
But it's called Gotcha Racing Second.
But it's called Gotcha Racing Second, which is to begin with stupid.
Why would you finish in second?
And secondly, the artwork that's on the drop here is just like literally like a top down of a bunch of 2D sprite cars. No, man, make it more exciting.
Hey,
than
it's
that.
racing. At least they got that. At least
I know what the game is. At least I know what the game
better
is.
Than Gene Rain.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, but there's so much more that you have. So much more work you have to do here. Like so. Okay. So the next game that you're going to talk about is Guts and Glory, right?
Yep.
So Guts and Glory, we already talked about it on the Xbox side of things. Dad with son, like doing stunts and stuff like that. Their artwork for the drop. Again, you should go and watch this. This is interesting. If you're into indie stuff, like honestly, this is marketing 101. So. Interesting looking graphic font, right? Picture of a dad with a small child hanging on for dear life behind him, but like you can't see why. You know what I mean? Like you can see that it's maybe a bicycle game.
He's pulling an ET right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit kind of like, why is there a child hanging off the back of this thing? Like so, it asks more questions of you, and it makes you
is broken off.
It makes you want to see more about the game. So then you're going to go and watch the trailer. And if they nail the trailer, you're going to get a purchase. That's how that works. Starts with the art, finishes with the trailer.
Hungry Shark World. Experience life as a shark and eat everything that gets in your way in this action-packed aquatic adventure.
If I hadn't played it on an iPhone, I would probably buy it.
This is an Android iOS port. The difference, though, and they've come out and said, there is no microtransactions in the PS4 version.
That's good.
I don't know what the microtransactions... I've never played this, but
it's fun. But it's pretty...
This is made by Ubisoft, by the way, or published by Ubisoft.
Really?
Yeah, Ubisoft did this. I looked it up, I was like, huh.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're just basically you're a shark and you have to make yourself bigger by eating stuff. So it's not really like anything special, but...
It's just one of those time wasters.
Yeah, it's a palate cleanser. Yeah.
Ice Cream Surfer. The Vita lives.
Yeah, see again, like the artwork here.
The Evil Broccoli.
It's good.
Irritated by the fact that the kids hate vegetables and love ice creams, multiple ice creams, has created an army of vegetables to destroy the flavor galaxy. Only the Ice Cream Surfer, with the help of his 4 tasty friends, can prevent that.
I mean, it sounds stupid but fun at the same time. Bad message, you know, kids eat your greens, but at the same time, like, it's
I didn't like.
Right.
It's one of those side-scrolling shooting games that I'm not a.
The one thing
side-scrolling.
I liked it once I saw the gameplay when they started the trailer, and you'll see it's kind of like there's a broccoli man
pointing,
kind of like
yelling,
pointing, and there's no voiceover, and it's just kind of weird and immediate. So. The same as with like a channel trailer on YouTube, you have to catch someone's attention in the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds of watching it. So I could see a menagerie of people that watched that trailer, turned it off,
you go nope,
and missed the actual good stuff, which was the gameplay, which looked great. So yeah, again, I'm doing a little bit of marketing as we go along here.
Let's Sing 2018.
I'd buy it.
Warm up these vocal cords. Enter the virtual stage and experience the best of Let's Sing ever made.
You know, it's a saturated market sometimes. Sometimes it's
Tom loves these games.
I do. I love singing games. I did not like the look of that game. Get SingStar instead. SingStar's shit, by the way, but it's the best you have right now. So
Rock Band.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably a better choice.
Go back to Rock Band.
Yeah, go back to Rock Band.
It's backwards. It's backwards. If you have an Xbox, it's backwards compatible.
Yeah, it's for PS4 too.
Well, is the library. The libraries. Yeah. Moose Band comes out on PS4 as well. We talked about it a little bit before.
Just cool. Good artwork.
Yeah.
Artwork suits the game.
Yes.
Because we know that's actually what it is.
And Mothergunship as well. Again, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that later. Buggsters. Path of Motus is coming out as well. Race Arcade.
Oh my god.
Race Arcade is the ultimate top-down racing game with a strong retro feeling and super smooth gameplay. This fresh and evolved racing experience seamlessly combines all the parts from good old racing games with the most recent technologies.
Okay. Stick with me. I'm going to ask you some questions. I want you to answer them. How long does it take an indie dev to make a game, roughly?
I mean, anywhere from a year to 3 years, depending on
year to 3 years. A lot of time.
Depending
basically,
on,
right? I mean, there's going to be someone like game jams and stuff.
Before you continue,
yeah,
I got to point something out on this. Again, we're on the drop.
Go for it.
Is that an alien ship next to race?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
I think so.
Just want to clear that up.
Either that or it's a bop it.
It looks like an it looks like an alien.
All right, so you take 1 to 3 years to make your game. You're really proud of it. You finally get the okay from Sony to put it on the store, and the best name you can come up with is Race Arcade.
Maybe everything else was trademarked.
Make a fucking original name.
Fucking what was the game earlier was taken? The Gotcha Racing Second was taken. They had to figure something
I guess
else.
the racing genre just must be like really saturated with the good names gone. I'm amazed that isn't a name already, actually. But like that is an abysmal name, and the artwork is just doesn't
Generic.
Tell me anything.
It's got a knockoff Ferrari on it.
It's just a cartoon of a car with a spaceship in the background.
I have to give it. Why is there a spaceship? I kind of want to know.
I mean,
why
that part's
spaceship.
interesting.
I want to know why there's a spaceship.
Admittedly. And I don't like shitting on indie devs because I fucking love indie devs and I love the people that put the work in and I think they're amazing. But at the same time, like, I want you to be better. I want you to, like, realize that even if your game is fucking amazing, no one's going to look at it if you call it Race Arcade with shit artwork. Well, it's not shit artwork. It's just not really appropriate.
You can call it Race Arcade if you market it really well. That's the key. You can't do a bad name and bad marketing.
Right.
It's just gonna equal bad time for you.
It makes me sad because I want this to succeed because every indie developer deserves a certain amount of success, but they don't. Like it's like they make the game. They're like, right, game's done. Fuck the marketing. Fuck the name. Fuck.
Well, a lot of them, like we've talked to them, just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
that's the big thing.
That's what we're gonna.
It's
start
like us.
You.
We don't.
We're gonna start.
We don't know
helping
what
you,
we're doing
indie
99% of
developers.
the time.
I promise. We're gonna make that. That's on my mother. We're gonna do that.
Speaking of things that you will like, Sonic Mania Plus is out on PS4.
This was a good fucking game.
Sonic Mania Plus is a definitive retail-enhanced version of the original Sonic Mania digital release, presented in pristine collectible packaging. Oh, excuse me.
Otherwise known as a case.
Building off its momentum and critical acclaim as one of the best platform games of 2017, the nostalgic, pixel-perfect visuals and fresh gameplay will deliver classic experience to gamers across the world. I still haven't played this because I wanted to get on Switch. I still don't have a Switch, so
you can borrow mine.
Yeah.
Once I'm done with Rabbids.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy the update for that as well, by the way. If you own the original, then I think it's just like $5 or something to update it to the Plus version.
But you don't get the case.
Yeah.
Because case is only physical.
True.
Super Destronaut DX.
I think it's supposed to be Destroynaut.
Destronaut.
All right. I mean, it's spelled Destronaut, but I'm assuming they wanted Destroynaut.
Inspired by an arcade classic, Super Destronaut DX is a retro space shooter that pits you against an enemy more dreaded than a UFO, a scoreboard.
I mean, it's Space
I'd
Invaders.
spit everywhere on scoreboard.
This is right. It's Space Invaders.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's,
like the sprites are almost identical.
It's Space Invaders.
Yeah.
Super Dungeon Tactics. Again, generic name.
Art
style is real cool looking.
I sigh internally. But yeah, the art style looks great. At least they have the art style right. But again, the name. Come on, guys.
Super Dungeon Tactics is a classic turn-based game featuring exciting and new gameplay mechanics, along with traditional RPG characters making you feel right at home. Dynamic gameplay will keep you on your toes. This was, again, one of those generic ones to me.
You know, I was just thinking in my head, in case you didn't notice, you can see the cogs turning sometimes, of like really, really famous games that have generic titles.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the only
Call of Duty.
Yeah. Well, even that, like at the time when that came out, there wasn't any games named like that. Now, games name themselves after that.
Yeah.
But at the time, that was unique. God of War is the only one I could really think of that was like, that's a little generic. But at the same time, like, it is spot on for what you're doing. You are the God of War.
If we go back to NES, baseball.
Well, yeah. Golf.
Golf.
Yeah, no. Yeah. But I'm just like...
Back then, you could get away with it.
I mean, if you want to mimic
when you're
success,
the only one, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, it's changed now, guys. You gotta up your game a little bit. I mean, at least Tempest 4000 has a random fucking number after it.
Tempest 4000. Tempest 4000 is a visually stunning, action-packed tube shooter based on the classic hit arcade game Tempest.
I guess that means you're in a tube and you're shooting.
And then I'm gonna butcher this name, but I got this.
Can't wait.
Touhou Genso Wanderer Reloaded. Touhou? Touhou? T-O...
Touhou Genso.
Touhou space Genso Wanderer Reloaded. Set out on an all-new adventure with Raimu, Marissa, Sine, and more.
They designed this with you in mind, didn't
Touhou characters. Is this a series? Apparently this is a series because Reloaded.
It is. Yeah. I mean,
I don't.
If you're into the series, go for it.
Fun fact, I suck at Japanese names. Don't know if you know
this. It's my
this.
favorite thing ever.
I am horrible at Japanese names.
I'm not that good with it, but
that's
like
when we did the
guess.
Kansui Fighter. I was like, you need to tell me how to say this.
Yeah, Kansui.
Kansui. So that's PlayStation. Let's go back through. There's quite a few games again, but there's more shovelware I feel like on PlayStation than there was on Xbox.
Agreed. For a change, actually.
Yeah. So you had Adventure Time, you had Black Sea Odyssey, Chicken Assassin Reloaded, Frost, Gene Rain, Gotcha Racing Second. Okay, still can't get over that name. Guts and Glory. Skip that one. That's VR. That's tomorrow or yesterday.
It's my only game.
Yeah. Hungry Shark World, Ice Cream Surfer, Let's Sing 2018, The Moose Man, Mothergunship, Buggsters, The Path of Motus, Race Arcade, Sonic Mania Plus, Super Jacked, which is Vita, which is why I didn't talk about it, Super Destronaut DX, Super Dungeon Tactics, and more supers, Tempest 4000, and Tahu Densu Wanderer Reloaded. If I just keep going with it, people won't know.
Okay.
Moving on to
Awesome.
Switch.
Excited. I've actually been paying way more attention to my Switch lately because I felt like,
You bought it and didn't use it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you did.
Well, yeah. Well, no, it wasn't so much that. Like, I did use it, but then, like, when it died, after I got it fixed and everything, I just couldn't. It felt like such a huge task just to put the games back on there, which I know sounds super lazy, but I am super lazy. So
you don't say.
Yeah. So I didn't for the longest time, and then I was like, you know what? I really should be using this. Like, it is a solid console. There's some good stuff coming out right now. So in preparation for some stuff, like Octopath and stuff like that.
I really want to Switch. And we're going to talk about it. Our question today is about the Switch and kind of indie games. But I really want to Switch because right now it's one of the best places to play indie games.
Correct.
So
I'm excited. So
here we go.
How they've been releasing.
We've got Animal Rivals, Nintendo Switch Edition, $4.
Animal Rivals.
Do you want me to tell you more about it?
I kind of want to know a little bit more about it.
I can tell you a little bit more about it.
Not
I got a couple games I've already
just
picked.
a little bit, enough to know what the fuck it means.
Become a real party animal in this crazy party game. Ton of fun awaits you and your friends. Animal Rivals is a crazy party game up to 4 players. Different characters, game modes, lots of stages, and fun. Many unlockables like costumes. That's literally what the description says.
That is like, how vague can you possibly try to make your description of this game? There are lots of game modes, and there's characters, and occasionally they are in the screen at the same time.
It looks all right. Like, from an art standpoint, it looks good. Did
Nintendo just not
it's not
put
Nintendo
a description in, or did they not give them one?
They probably didn't get one. That's probably was the description.
That's weird.
It's a $4 game. What do you expect?
True that.
Moose Man is also out on Switch.
Is it cheaper on the Switch?
Yeah.
It's cheaper, right?
Oh, is it cheaper? I don't know.
$6.29. I don't remember it being $6.29.
I don't remember.
I think it was like $10 on them.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
Maybe it's pre-purchase.
Could be.
It's pre-purchase. Vertical Strike Endless Challenge looks like a dogfighting, flying shooter airplane game. How's that for a description?
It's about as good as their name.
Yep. And in your weekly arcade classics, you got ACA, the arcade classic something. I'm sure that stands for something. I'll figure that out at some point. Neo Geo League Bowling, so you now bowl on the Switch. You also have Arcade Archive City Connection from Neo Geo.
Okay.
Both $8.
Realistically, right? If there was a Neo Geo bowling game, did it really need
realistically
to be
though,
Switch?
if you're a diehard Neo Geo fan, you're buying a Switch now.
I mean, yeah, there is that. I mean, Neo Geo fans everywhere rejoice for the Switch.
All like
every
400
week,
of them.
There's at least one new Neo Geo.
I'm sure there's somebody somewhere's like,
did Nintendo buy Neo Geo? Like, what happened there? Why is there always a new Neo Geo game? I don't get it.
Because Nintendo says,
and they're not putting out anything else, though. You don't see it on PlayStation.
We'll talk about that later, why this is happening, Tom.
All right, fair enough.
But I guarantee you, of like the 400 people that love Neo Geo, there's some guy out there that's like, dude, I remember this fucking bowling game on my Neo Geo. They need to bring it back.
I mean, I was super pumped about Two Cool Dudes, so maybe
so,
I get it. Yeah,
you never know.
What else?
Chicken Assassin Reloaded, $8 on the Switch.
Yeah.
Frost is coming to Switch as well, $13. Guts and Glory, $15. That might be the place to play that.
Yeah.
I think that would be a perfect game for Switch.
It looks like I gotta go poop. I need to play a game type game. It's a poop game. Not a bad game.
How long
it's
are
just a game that you play when you poop.
How long are your poops?
Depends how long the game is. I can make it last.
Johnny Turbo's Arcade Shootout.
Johnny Turbo, yeah. Again, another Johnny Turbo and ACA, man. All about it.
Mm-hmm. Lost Phone Stories. I'm going to go a little bit more into this.
Yes, please do.
So, the Lost Phone games are about exploring the intimacy of an unknown person whose phone you found, which is really interesting.
That's not a bad concept.
They are designed as a narrative investigation where you must piece together elements from different applications, messages, and pictures to progress. Through the interface of a mobile phone, you must discover what happened to their owner. Experience relatable stories which will help build empathy with the characters, allowing to explore difficult topics and social issues. I really like this concept, which is why I picked it.
It sounds like an iOS game.
I was going to say I'd love to have it as an iOS port because it fit perfectly on there. But yeah, cool. $10, worth it.
This is why we support indie developers for concepts like that. That is like so smart, so interesting. It reminds me a little bit of. Do you ever play? What was it called? Her? No, that's the movie, isn't it? There was a game. It was, I don't know if it was called Her or not. Her Story, I think it was. Her Story. Did you ever play that?
No.
So it was so interesting. You were like, you were at a police station and you had access to the retro computer, and you could search for any video, and they were all just like interview clips with this one actress who had basically just like recorded a fuck ton of like fake interviews, and you had to piece together the story of this murder by simply like listening to keywords in the interview and then like searching those words and then finding different interviews and then searching those words, and then it was so clever. It reminds me a lot of that. Like you kind of like you have nothing and you have to piece together an entire story out of just like basic interface stuff. I like it.
Cool. I'm going to rapid fire these last few because we got to get moving on. But no Reload Heroes, $10 pre-purchase. Pool Panic, $15 pre-purchase. Sanrio characters Picross.
Sanrio characters
Sanrio's Picross. That's 3DS. I don't know why that's on here. Oh, it's because I didn't switch to Switch. Switch to Switch.
Switch to Switch.
There we go. So that's not on there. That's 3DS. Star Avenger Operation Take Black Earth, $5.
Starship Avenger.
Sorry.
Your eyes go so fast, dude.
Tanzia, $17. And then Hirokai, $10 on Switch. And we got 3 more. We've got Spheroids, $8 pre-purchase. We have VSR. I'm assuming that stands for Void Space Racing, $10. Looks like a what is it called? What's the game on PlayStation?
Wipeout.
That's it. Looks similar, kind of like that, but it looks like it's in space versus on a planet. And then you have Werewolf Pinball. Apparently, does not have a price, but it's
$2.
Oh no, it has a price, but yeah, I didn't see the price. $2.
Spheroids to me sounds like this like weird like
bad,
it's like a mutated version of hemorrhoids. Yeah, like you know you have severoids.
So we have Animal Rivals Nintendo Switch Edition, the Moose Man, Vertical Strike Endless Challenge. We have the Neo Geo League Bowling, Neo Geo Archive City, the Chicken Assassin Reloaded, Frost, Guts of Glory, Johnny Turbo, Lost Phone Stories, No Heroes Reloaded, Pool Panic, Starship Avenger, Tanzia, Hirokoi, however you say that. Spheroids, VSR Void Space Racing, and Werewolf Pinball this week.
Obviously, Werewolf.
Lots of games.
Werewolf fucking Pinball. You know what, though? We talked about, like, non-generic names. Werewolf Pinball is pretty up there as far as, like, all right, I have to look into this because
see what it is?
Werewolf Pinball.
Yes.
No, great. Good stuff. I would say the Lost Phone Story looks like the most interesting on the Switch.
And Guts and Glory,
I don't know
I'd
if it's
pick it
good
up
or
on
not,
Switch.
but it definitely looks interesting.
So that's your new games, new releases this week for both, or for all 3, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. Moving on next to the news.
See you after this.
And for the news this week, we have 4 details. Detail number 1, Psyonix has no plans for Rocket League 2, preferring to expand the existing game instead.
Yeah, that's good. I'm fine with that.
Rocket League won't be getting a sequel because Psyonix is focused on continued support for Rocket League. Psyonix has confirmed that it currently has no plans for a Rocket League sequel, saying that it wants to continue expanding existing Rocket League rather than making a follow-up to its 2015 title. Games as Service director Scott Rudy told GameSpot, "The most valuable thing in our game is our fans. A lot of stuff we do is focused on keeping them with us, keeping them interested and all hyped about our game. We want to provide a really good experience for players to have fun with for years to come. We want to keep this going." That makes sense because that game is perfect for that. Like, what can you change in that?
It was good and bad, right? So I think I think yes, that does make perfect sense. I mean, essentially, Rocket League has established itself half through luck, and like by being like the free PS Plus game and stuff. Like a lot of people got it for free off the bat, which means their player base was already huge when they got it. The actual concept,
but people are supporting it with the DLCs,
right?
Like
exactly.
That's where it's coming. That's where they're making the money.
My concern is that they might hit a roadblock in terms of getting to a point where they want to update the engine. And then they don't have a choice. But
that might be years down the road, though. Like at that point, they still have time to do it.
Yeah,
because their biggest issue were the servers. They had to expand servers.
Yeah, and it's not like they're like struggling right now, but also the fact that it's like an esport game. I mean, I kind of look at it in a similar vein to games like Overwatch and stuff, where like Overwatch has been out for what 2.5 years at this
2015.
point. And 3 years. And you know, there's not going to be an Overwatch 2,
maybe 2016,
because that would be weird, right? There's like Counter-Strike. There's not a Counter-Strike 2. I mean, they did the global offensive, but like there's just kind of once it's established in that arena as being like kind of I guess a famous game.
I mean, look at Melee.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, but they can update those games because those have character rosters and stuff that kind of go in and out and different levels and stuff. But I guess
that's
Overwatch
what Rocket
could do
League
that
is.
too. Yeah, I don't know. It's I would like to see an update at some point, but I don't think they have to do it anytime soon. I would say never because that.
Well, it just said right now they don't have plans for it, which makes sense.
And I hope that's not like just like we're never going to update it. We're just going to make a different game or whatever, because they don't have to call it Rocket League 2. They could just
their Super one is supersonic acrobatic rocket powered cars or something like that. Was the original name of Rocket League 1?
Yikes.
So it's literally, if you look at that game and you look at Rocket League, like they are the same game,
right?
Just
and they could just update the name a
bit.
little bit and just be like Rocket League Ultra or something, And
people would hate that though.
Whatever. But like, leave that door open is all I'm saying. But for now, I think they're good.
Well, they didn't say they weren't ever going to do one. They just said right now we have no plans to do one. We're going to continue supporting it, which I think where they're at. I see Rocket League being a platform that'll be around for years. Like you said, at some point they're going to have to update, like whether it's new hardware or whatever it may be, to get it over to the next one. But maybe when they do a port to PlayStation 5 and Xbox 2,
good time to update.
That's when you would do the update. Maybe
stagnation is what scares me, because with a game like Overwatch, they keep it like fresh by consistently releasing new materials, new maps,
so does
new
Rocket
characters.
League.
But they have new maps and game modes. But at some point, you're going to run out of those. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so many ways you can play soccer.
There's only so many maps you can build on. Like, you're playing the same game modes in
game modes, yes, but like
Overwatch.
You're releasing a character every couple months. You're
releasing new cars every couple months. Same thing.
Cars don't really make a difference though.
But to people who play it does,
but they're cosmetic. They're not like one isn't like more powerful than the other or has like different move sets or anything. Everyone has basically a car that either looks one way or like when you get your power ups, they're all the same. There's less wiggle room, I'm saying, for them to sort of keep it interesting. Although the foundation of the game is,
I mean, they added power ups, they added soccer.
Oh yeah, and what they have done so
basketball.
far is great, but they've done a lot fast. So where do you go from here? Is my question.
Olympics.
I mean, that's a good couple month thing.
World Cup tie-in. You do.
That would be sweet.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're big enough now. They have all these opportunities outside of what you would think traditional. Who says they're not going to do like a wrestling mode where like you can bounce off walls and shit? Like you're inside of a wrestling ring and you can, instead of just driving up the wall, you'll slingshot back in.
Interesting.
Like there are so many things you can do with, because their game at the core is just cars on a field.
Right.
Who says it has to be soccer? It doesn't, because they already proved with hockey and basketball, and with drop shot, like that's volleyball.
Yeah.
So they can do whatever they want. It's just they got to make their premise is just cars on an arena.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? Maybe they'll do Destruction Derby, because everybody loves exploding people in that game. Like you could add a destruction mode. Like there's so many things still they have possibilities of doing.
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully. I mean, it's a solid game. I'm happy that it's going to be around for years to come. But I do think they should consider leaving that door open. Moving on.
Detail number 2. Enter the Gungeon's massive new expansion is arriving July 19th for free.
Yay.
Today, this was a couple days ago, by the way, Dodge Roll Games announced that its massive new expansion of Enter the Gungeon is finally slated to arrive. Best of all, the update will be absolutely free. Dodge Roll revealed earlier this month this expansion, titled Advanced Gungeons and Dragons,
Wow.
has been submitted for certification to at least one console platform. Now they have confirmed that the update is ready to release and will launch Thursday, July 19th, pending certification approval on unspecified platforms. This means that there's a chance that the date could still roll out a bit later on certain platforms. As for just what will be included in the Advanced Gungeons and Dragons, Dodgerel has stated on Twitter that it will boast hundreds of new rooms with dozens of new weapons, items, enemies, and ammo types, hundreds of new wild synergies, more generous drop rates, slide over the tables and coffins, lots more. Currently, Enter the Gungeon is available on nearly every platform: Xbox One, PC, PS4, and Switch. We'll have to wait to see if the advanced Gungeons and Dragons delay on any other platform, but clearly Dodgerel feels confident in this date that they don't necessarily expect that to be an issue.
It's a great game. It really
free
is.
Update.
Free update.
So like, if you like the game,
if you're on the fence, even if you're, because I'm on the fence about this, because I played it back when we had Jordan on the channel. He brought it over and we played it together, and I thought it was cool. It was fun. I like those type of games, but I wasn't really willing to drop that much money on it at the time. It's been on my back burner for Switch because it is a perfect Switch title. If this expansion is that good and that big, it's a case of like, well, you might want to pick it up now while it's cheaper, and then when that expansion comes, get that for free, as opposed to when it comes out, the price may end up going kind of like stay in retail a bit more often because of the amount of stuff that's in there. So, but yeah,
free updates are never a bad thing.
Free updates are always good, and this one does sound huge. It does sound massive. The advanced Gungeons and Dragons thing is funny.
That is so hard to say.
It is. They probably should have just done Gungeons and Dragons, and that would have been fine. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool. I like it.
Detail number 3: No Man's Sky's next update. Here's a look at multiplayer gameplay.
Ooh.
Hello Games has released a trailer showing off the multiplayer for No Man's Sky's next. That's the name of the update, not the new game. No Man's Skies will arrive next week on Xbox One, showing off the video of next updates multiplayer has been released. The update includes aforementioned multiplayer mode and builds upon previous updates Atlas Rises, Foundation, and Pathfinder. The next update will be released for all platforms, and a previous trailer highlighted that 11 things have changed since released. It's basically a recap of all the improvements and content released through DLC. With this launch, players across all 3 platforms will finally be able to explore, fight, and survive with friends. I'm excited about this. New things. New multiplayer mode. Team up with small groups of friends to explore the universe together or join with random travelers online. Help friends stay alive or prey on others to survive. It's like PvP. Build shelters or complex colonies together to share with your team. Fight as a pirate or a wingman in epic space battles with friends and enemies. Race exocraft across weird alien terrains, creating racetracks and trails to share online. Extensive visual overhaul. Play in third or first person, both on foot and in ship. Gaze at planetary rings and improve space visuals that make space more beautiful than ever. Explore dramatically improved planetary terrain generation, ground textures, water and clouds that bring the environment to life. Enjoy significantly more details added to ships, NPCs, and building. Unlimited building, base building. They also did not bold the G for some reason. Building bases anywhere on a planet with hundreds of new base parts added to the game. Create bigger and better bases than ever before with dramatically increased base building complexity and size limits. Architect and own multiple bases. Command freighters. Assemble and upgrade a fleet of frigates and command them from the bridge of your freighter. Send your fleet out into the universe to deploy them to help you as you explore the specific system. Build a truly custom capital ship with improved freighter-based building. Invite your friends aboard and take on challenging multiplayer missions from the Galactic Commission Station on your bridge. No Man's Sky releases July 24th in North America and 27th in Europe for Xbox One. 505 Games will distribute the physical Xbox One version worldwide. No Man's Sky's Next is coming as a free update to PC and PS4 on the same day. It is a free update to all who own the game. I'm excited about this because No Man's Sky is such a different game than when it launched, and it got so much shit. Not every update I go back to it, but this is the one that probably will because friends will make me stay. If I'm going to go back in No Man's Sky and play No Man's Sky again, it'll be this update. And if this update does not do it, then I feel like I'm done with the game. Because it has base building now. It has resource management. It has all the things. They've added stuff that I love. Now they added friends.
There's one thing missing for me.
What?
VR.
Yeah, they've never said, though, they're ever going to have VR.
They have, actually. But they said they're definitely considering it anyway.
Well, considering it is different than confirming it.
I know. But, like... I mean, if if this game was to add VR to it, I know that that wouldn't necessarily make a difference in their player base, although I think it would help a little bit, especially if it's obviously PSVR. But like this game is so ripe for that, it seems like such a wasted opportunity to not at least look at it. I don't know how hard it would be.
Well, I'm sure they're looking at it, but the other, again, from their perspective, their game got so much shit that they're not going to try and fix it for the however many people have PSVR. They're going to try and fix it for the wider audience.
No, which makes sense, and I'm fine with that. And I think they're doing that. I think like they're at a point where that's like you said, like either this does it or nothing does it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is basically like everything that everybody actually asked for and they said it was going to be in there is now there. So the only thing that I think would actually maybe bring in a new audience that might look at the game differently is the VR audience, because if you can make
the question is, would they, or are they expect it, like at this point where it's like No Man's Sky VR, like I want this, and if they don't do it, I'll be pissed at it.
No, I don't think that. I don't think. I mean, really, the change of opinion won't be anything, because it's either there or it's not, and if it's not, then nothing changes. So like they're not going to be like, oh, fuck those guys for not doing it. But if they do it, then they're basically giving a giant like kiss to the VR community. You're potentially bringing on, especially for PC, you're potentially bringing on a lot more people for like Vive VR. Let's say they make it cross-platform as well for the VR, which they do tend to do with VR stuff. Even Sony opens up to cross-platform.
I don't know how hard it is.
Right, yeah. I mean, I don't know how hard it is, and I also don't know like how difficult it is, because that is a huge fucking game. It was when it came out. So
the
now
other thing
I
you
can
got
only imagine.
And frame rate and all that kind of stuff.
And then you have to worry about frame rate, and then like especially like with the crafting, like how do you do the controls correctly? Like there's so much to it. If they could, however, successfully pull it off in a manner similar to, I don't know, Solace Project or something, I think that I would 100% be all the way back in. I'd probably play it a ton. Even with this update for me, I kind of am like lukewarm on it. I would play it with you on a stream or something, but I probably wouldn't like play it by myself, just because like, and it's not really their fault that it fucked up so bad at launch, because like we were saying earlier, I mean honestly
the question I have to you then, because if you said if it added VR, that would sell you on it.
Yeah.
Why? Because the game's not changing; it's just in VR.
Because I think that experience,
a boring game is a boring
VR
game,
increases the greatness of the game 100-fold. I think that in like flat, excuse my terminology, but in a flat game style, like it's good, but not really something that I'd be super into. The idea though of having it in 100% virtual platform, I don't have to do the crafting or anything. I can just go exploring.
No, you'd have to. You have to survive. You still have to survive.
I know,
that's what I'm saying. The base game is still there.
To do that, you can just go planet to planet and kill stuff and eat stuff. Like you don't have.
But you still have to mine. You still have to craft. You still have to upgrade your ship. You have to do all that kind of stuff to keep progressing the game.
I can do bare minimal stuff. What I'm saying is, I don't have to make a fucking city like you would do if you sat down and did your crafting.
But that's not the way. I don't play the game, in my opinion, the way a lot of people play it, like I do. But
the goal is to get played Fallout 4 like fucking
but what I'm saying is the base game doesn't change if it's VR or not.
No, it doesn't.
Period. But the gameplay is crafting at its core, crafting and exploration. Those are what the two things are.
But the immersion level makes it worth it. Because you're getting, so like there's a difference between me looking at a TV, flying around in a ship and like discovering alien creatures and stuff, and actually being on a planet that I've never seen before and seeing an alien life form I've never seen before.
But that's so minuscule in the scale of the game.
Not for VR fans, man. That's a big.
Well, I'm saying from the how much you play the game, the exploration. You land on a planet, you see your stuff, then move to the next planet. Like that's so small part of the game compared to mining.
But
resource.
What about this then? What about if they made it VR but also had different game modes in terms of like
they're not going to.
You could turn off the survival elements. How easy is that to do?
Well, I mean they have building mode right now.
Right. So I'm saying they could give you like an exploration mode where all you do,
which they have,
is just fly around. I mean, if
they have non-survival mode.
Well, perfect. You answered.
But then that defeats the point of the game because you're not really doing anything. You're just walking around a game world.
One of the most fun parts of Megaton Rainfall was not flying above cities and blasting aliens that were attacking cities. It was just zipping around space and going to different planets and being like, holy shit, I'm flying through the rings of Saturn right now. Like,
But how quickly would you get bored of that? That's the question.
If it's a procedurally generated universe where every planet is different and there are billions of them and there are like procedurally generated creatures and craters and stuff.
You've seen how similar most planets are in that game.
But that's what all these updates are supposed to fix.
No, they're not
adding all these bits.
They're not adding any more flora or fauna.
Didn't they just?
They're
say
adding
that
detail. They're adding
like,
details.
But
they're not adding more flora, or fauna. So that's one of the complaints with the game when it came out is they said they're gonna have these different creatures, and when you go to the planet, it's the same.
I thought they already
6 pieces.
updated it to increase the flora and fauna.
Nope.
I'm sure that was in a past update.
It wasn't part of Atlas. It wasn't part of Foundation because Foundation was the base building. Atlas was the explorations like space people. I don't know what to call it. Like the people you talk to. You got more races and stuff like that.
Did they fix the AI for the creatures?
What do you mean?
Because the AI, like the creatures were dumb as rocks. Basically.
No, they still. Yeah, they don't do anything. You just talk to them and sell stuff and buy stuff from them.
Not the people, like the creatures, like the. I
mean, some of the creatures attack you. Some of them don't. They're passive, some aren't.
I just meant like the AI in general was really poor, like to the point where they would just run into a wall consistently, that kind of stuff.
I don't know. That I can't answer.
I think they said that they did increase the AI for them, but either way, like I just there's a certain level of like it's hard to explain. I know that you know what I'm talking about, and you're playing devil's advocate.
No, I really think like VR does not make this game that much better because it's either a good game or it's not in this instance. Because I think in your mind what. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what I'm thinking you're putting here is, yes, the experience of going in and seeing that first time when you're like, holy shit, there's that giraffe-looking thing, is cool. My argument is that's not going to happen that often. How many times do you land on a planet and there's nothing there? Like, to me, that'll get...
I didn't play it enough, really,
to me, that'll get boring like the game did, where it's like, okay, I went to planet, I'm mining resources, next planet, mining... And not much... There's not that much different for each planet to keep me excited with the exploration, which is what I wanted to be good, but it was not good.
I'm not needing it to convince me to buy it. I have it.
Correct.
I already own it. I'm just never going to play it unless they give me a reason to. And for me, the biggest reason to do that would be to have it in VR.
Yeah, and I can't disagree with that because that's your opinion on it.
Right. And I'm just like, if you want to increase your player base, especially with the multiplayer and stuff, because like if I can be in VR multiplayer and you can be flat multiplayer and we can be doing stuff together at the same time, it'd be wonderful. I'd really enjoy that because the multiplayer, that is the thing that's bringing you back in, right? That's the thing that makes you.
Well, the base building brought me back in, but it wasn't
right. But you said like the friends thing is the thing that you've kind of been like missing, that you wanted to be able to play it with friends. So if we can play it with friends, but I can be fully immersed in it, then I'm way more likely to like play more often because that to me makes me want to put the headset on, and I need reasons to put the headset on. And if one of those
do you need reasons to put the headset on, play Elder Scrolls?
No, because it's a good game. That's a good reason to just jump.
How do you know No Man's Sky is not a good game? You said
I've played it.
Have you played it since last update? No.
No.
I've rest my case. It's changed a lot.
All right.
I'm just going to say play it before you say that.
Like when I play Elder Scrolls, I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah, and you don't know what you're getting into right now. So play the game, and then next week, come back and tell me. Or 2 weeks from now. That's what I'm going to say. Come back in 2 weeks and tell me what you think about the game because it's changed so much.
I will do that.
I would love that.
Let's move on.
Because we won't be here next week. Detail number 4.
I'll tell you next week.
Nintendo Switch. Nintendo wants to release 20 to 30 indie games on Nintendo Switch per week.
Yikes.
During the meeting, one shareholder, this is their financial reports meeting, shareholder meeting, sorry. One shareholder asked, indie games have become a hot topic recently. As games made by small-scale developers around the world with relatively low development costs, how will Nintendo integrate these kinds of games into its future business strategy? Nintendo senior executive Sumo Takana gave a surprisingly high estimate for exactly how many games the company hopes to bring to the Switch. We are actively engaging with indie developers at the video game focused shows and other events in different regions. Some of the indie games have already been released and have gone on to become million sellers worldwide, Takana said. In the future, we are looking to release around 20 to 30 indie games on Nintendo Switch per week, and we definitely expect to see some great games among them.
That's interesting. Some great games among them. Not all great games.
So, this is going to be our discussions. I don't really want to go in it, but just let that sink in as we move into the spotlight here.
The one question I had for you before we get to the discussion is who was it that asked that question?
It was a shareholder.
The question is dumb as shit, right? I hear these indie games are good. What are you going to do about that? And you know that like Switch is already basically the main platform for indie games. It just shows how much this fucking shareholder knows about the thing that they're holding shares in. That's a depressing question for someone.
Well, how are they going to add it to their future business strategy?
No, that's a better question.
That's the question.
Yeah, but no.
The question is...
Read it out exactly as he said.
Indie games have become a hot topic recently.
No. They've been a hot topic for years. Hold on, let me finish.
As games made by small-scale developers around the world with relatively low development costs How will Nintendo integrate these kinds of games into the future of its business strategy?
Yeah, but they already are. That's the whole thing. Like, how are they going to do it in the future? They're doing it right now. I mean, yes, it's interesting that they said they're going to release a fucking million of them a week, apparently. But, like, it almost seems to me like how out of touch is that dude that's asking the question that he doesn't, A, already know that indie games have been hot shit for years. And I mean years. Secondly, that Nintendo is the prime indie platform already. It's basically taken over and has been since it launched. And the fact that, you know, and here's the telling part, relatively low development costs. Basically, how little can we play these motherfuckers and then make millions off of that? That's depressing to me. That's,
I agree.
I fucking hate this guy already. But, I mean, it's whatever. Moving on to whatever the next thing is.
Moving on to Spotlight.
Do it. So this week, I understand we have 2 spotlights.
Spotlights with an S.
So we have Mothergunship and the Path of Motus, both of which were gracefully gifted to us by the developers.
And we're actually meeting the dev for Path of Motus. I said it earlier. In a couple weeks.
Okay, so he's a St. Louis lad.
Yep.
So both devs gave us keys, you know, full disclosure. But as you guys know, that does not in any way, shape, or form affect our opinion of the game. There is no money involved.
No.
You know,
that would be weird.
So it would be weird, and I would feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
So it's nice that we can say whatever we want to say, and luckily, most of the time, we only request games that we think we're going to like anyway. So most of the time, you know, we end up liking them. So what are you going to choose first?
So Mothergunship is the first one.
All right.
And this was one when I requested the key. It was not a game that I'm like I'm really gonna like because it's different than most games I play. It reminded me a little bit of Doom with like the speed of killing things. The gist of it is you are part of this armada and you're fighting the Mothergunship is the big ship you got to kill in the end that's in control of other ships.
Big bad.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the game, the first level you go through, which is the tutorial. Well, technically the first 3 levels are a tutorial, but they show you like the beginning one is how to jump, how to run, how to movement stuff.
Is it pretty? Are you pretty mobile?
Yes.
Okay.
Level 2 is armory, shows you how to level up your armor, all that kind of stuff. And then the third level is it opens up the gunsmith, where you collect parts throughout the level, and you can then put those and make your own guns and keep those guns going forward.
Is that how you do you have to actually find the parts, or do you unlock them in any way?
You can buy them.
Okay.
So
how do you get money?
Hold on.
Okay.
We'll get there. So the first things first, when you jump in, you're given a briefing from this colonel, I'm guessing. I don't know if can't remember if he's colonel or lieutenant or whatever, telling you what you're doing. And you go through the tutorial level, and at the end of the first tutorial level there's this giant octopus-looking boss. I don't know what to call it.
I like tentacles.
And the way the game works, and again, this is kind of full disclosure, I played a pre-release copy of the game. If you watch the footage I have up, there are some performance issues that are known. I'm actually going to read out what the devs said here. I don't know if they put it on here or not, but they in the email they sent us, there was things saying, yes, we are aware day one there's going to be a patch that's going to fix X, Y, and Z. One of those things I remember was performance, because it was stuttering only during loading screens, not during like the gameplay itself. I didn't notice any sort of slowdown during the gameplay. During the shooting, which can become chaotic at times. But the game itself, you go into different rooms, and each room you get in, when the door's closed, it'll tell you room number. So you're in room number 3, and then it'll tell you enemy threat level. And your goal is basically get through that room to the next room, and then eventually you'll fight a boss, and then once the boss is done, you're in level, you go to the next level.
I'm assuming kill everything opens the door?
Nope. So one of the things, it was cool because you know how they do tips every so often? One of the tips was you don't have to kill everything to get through the room. Some stuff you do to unlock the door. So there's at the beginning of the game, it's easy to kill everything. Unlike Doom, it's not aliens, it's just robots. It's like turrets and like flying.
Is that why you like it more? Because there's no blood? It's just like sparks?
Could be.
Okay.
But it's a lot of turrets, a lot of drones, a lot of just robotic things shooting you, which makes sense because I want to know what the Mothergunship is. I'm really interested to kind of see what she is, what's inside of it.
It's gotta be an alien, betcha.
Probably.
Put money on it.
But when you go into the room, you have one of two options. One, you kill everything, door will open. Second option, if you just go up to the door and shoot it, it'll open as well. Once you're through the room, the door closes behind you. The guys stay behind you. But the reason there's multiple reasons you want to kill enemies. Reason number one is they drop health. So if you get shot, you need to get health. The only ways you can get health in the game are either killing enemies or buying it from the weaponsmith shops that are throughout the level. The second reason you want to go to them, they drop money. How do you buy new gun parts? You need the currency, the money. The third reason is they also drop like power-up crystals that I've not used yet, but they're later on in the game. You use them for different crafting materials, so higher-end stuff will use them.
Can you grind a room to try and get better stuff?
Once they're dead, they're dead.
Okay, so you can't like replay and keep your stuff?
Nope. And then if you die, so say I pick up weapon parts and I die in that level, I lose all those weapon parts. So when you go into a level, you do it changes from level to level. Some levels have predetermined loadouts you have to take in. And it's funny because the joke they made, it's based on whatever the name of the company, the gun company is. It's like whatever their marketing is at the time.
Right.
You got to use that. But if you say I have a stock of 20 flamethrowers and I make a gun that has 10 of them, if I die with those 10 flamethrowers are no longer in my inventory, period.
To be fair, if you die with 10 flamethrowers attached to your gun, you probably deserve to lose them.
So, but that's an example. Like, so you can go back and grind. You can grind side missions to get gun parts, but you have to finish the side missions to keep them. Otherwise, you lose them.
Well, that's a good hook, though.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a lot of fun, and they even warn you before you go into the third level, which is last of the tutorial, because that's the first side mission pops up after the second one. Is like, hey, grind side missions to get better stuff to do this level. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool because it explains why side missions are important. Like, why don't I just jump from one to the other?
What does a side mission look like compared to? Because you said the main game is you're just going into a room, kill everything, move on.
Just boss. Side mission, same thing. It's just.
Oh, okay.
It's so.
Maybe the slightly
from
more
my
unique,
experience, from my experience, the side missions have special rooms. I've not seen one yet in a main mission. Doesn't mean they don't exist.
Okay.
So, prime example in the side mission, in the one I played, I went to a room, killed everybody, and then there's two doors. One of the doors had what looks like X crosses on them, and the other door had what looked like a checkered flag on it. So I went to the checkered flag door because racing. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cool. What it was, yes. Well, one of the things was you cannot stop moving for 60 seconds to unlock a special door at the back of that room to then get what is ever behind it. In my case, it was a bunch of gun parts and money, which is very useful. But what sucked about it was I'd killed everything in that room within 20 seconds, so I'm sitting there for 40 seconds just running around, waiting for the time to run out.
At least it's easy.
But yeah. So you do that. The other one, the axe ones, is more of like a gauntlet style, where you're running through different enemies that, like, maybe there's chainsaws on the wall or flamethrowers shooting, and it's more of an obstacle course style excursion through.
Gotcha.
Those are the two that I played. There are other ones that I saw, and I like that you have the choice.
Yeah, it definitely has a side mission feel to it. Like, like if you're doing an open world sandbox game and you just like collect all the things as fast as you can, go through all the rings as fast as you can. But at the same time, like, I like that it gives you big rewards and definitely helps you with the main thing.
And the big thing with this game and the hook to this game is crafting your gun.
Right.
So the way crafting works in the game, there's two main places you can craft. One is on your main ship, that's the hub world separated from everything else. Inside the gunsmith, you go there, there's a crafting station, build it. Go into the game, you're done. The other one is in each level, throughout the rooms, or sometimes in between rooms, there's crafting stations. And at each crafting station, there's usually 6 items that you can buy, depending on how much money you have. So the different elements from the crafting aspect is there's connectors, which is literally what they sound like. They connect things together. So you have connectors, you have barrels, and you have, I can't remember the third thing's called.
So when you're, so is that kind of designed to have it like in between levels so that you don't have to keep going back to the hub world to continuously like?
No, you do go back to the hub world every time. But in the level, if you say you wanted to change something up, you can. So I got into game one time.
Can you do it while you're fighting?
No, it's in between the fights. I'm trying to find the. There's a third thing that basically is modifiers, is what it is. I don't know what the exact word they used is, but it's a modifier for it. So you have your connectors, which are your sockets. You have your barrels, which is what you're shooting. So shotgun, flamethrower, assault rifle, chain gun, whatever it may be, rocket launcher. And then you have your modifiers that 10% reload speed, but you move 20% slower, or
gotcha.
10%. Or my favorite one that I found was ricochet. So I actually had 2 ricochets on, so when I did a shotgun, it would bounce twice off walls.
Nice.
Which was a lot of fun. So with the crafting, you asked, do you have to go back? You always have to go back to the hub world, but when you craft, so I went into level one time where I had, basically it was a beam rifle, so it's a sniper rifle, and then I had a flamethrower. Not a good combination to have. It sounds good in theory, but the level I was in did not make it work.
Okay.
The reason being is I got overwhelmed pretty quickly, and the flamethrower doesn't kill people instantly, it burns them over time. The sniper rifle is long distance, so hitting somebody close is hard. So after I cleared the first room, after jumping around like a friggin' idiot, trying not to die, I then went to the crafting station and said, okay, what gun barrels do I have here that I can buy to switch up something? And maybe I want to keep the sniper rifle, but then I can have a 3-prong connector underneath it and add a Gatling gun, so that way I've got something for when they're close. But every time you add something to your gun, it uses more energy. And the way you can upgrade your energy is through the perks, through the connections. There are some that uses 10% less energy or whatever it may be. Or when you finish a mission and you get XP that you go through when you finish a mission, you then go back to your armory, you can upgrade your stats. Your armor doesn't physically change, which kind of is a bummer. I wish there was some sort of like physical attribute to it. It's just power up. And the cool thing with it is you can change at any time what your power-ups are. So it's not like you've selected the more health that's locked in. You can actually take that health away and put that point somewhere else if you find out you need it. I like that, especially early on in the game, because you're like, I don't know what I need. I think there's like, I want to say 8 to 12 different stats for your armors that you can have.
Sweet.
So the basic premise of the game is, like I said, you go through the rooms, you're shooting these smaller aliens. You then eventually come across a boss. Boss is a pain in the ass to kill. The first one is
like epic, or
they're large.
Okay.
So the first one you play is a tentacle-looking dude, like a drill style thing. So what it is you're in this circular room, and there's platforms that you can jump from, and there's lava on the floor. So you touch lava, you're gonna
get hurt.
Lava. But there's these platforms up top, and he has a laser that I'm gonna call it his eye, but it's just this hole in the middle of the dude that just opens up and shoots a laser out to cut the door.
Right.
So while he's doing that is your opportunity to kill him, because the what looks like an eye socket opens up, shoot him there. But at the same time, he's shooting rockets at you from above and below, so you got to avoid those while you're shooting him. So it's a lot of like
it's chaos.
Yeah, spatial awareness. Because at first I kept dying. I was like, why am I dying? And I didn't see the rockets being shot at me because I wasn't looking. I was
laser focused on the eye socket.
Literally laser focused. Yeah. And then he'll break down that door, and then you go to the next room. The next room it'll have the floor is lava, but then it'll have some things you have to jump over and obstacles, and maybe some enemies coming at you. So you're literally looking behind you because he's behind you, but you also have to look ahead to see what you're about to run into. And that's why it's nice for him when he at the end of when he's cutting the door, he stops and you can shoot him. Gives you the opportunity to
This is where the mobility comes into play.
Yes.
I assume. Yeah.
And the big thing that I learned when I was playing is you want to make sure you kill the little guys to get health and all that back. So he was killing me. And during this tutorial, I actually died on one of my playthroughs. Not the one I recorded because it got corrupted, but I had to record again. And it was funny because during the tutorial, you're not allowed to die. That's just the way video games work. So the captain, commander, lieutenant, whatever his title is, comes in my ear and he goes, "You're not dead yet, soldier. Get back up," and you just have full health again. I was like, damn, I love that. The rest of the game is not like that, but I did enjoy that feeling there of like, I'm invincible. But it's a really fun game.
False advertising though for when you get into the main game.
Yeah, dude. When I died, it's like you're done. It's
Where
like,
are you?
but when you go back to like the hub, like when you do die, it's like it's okay. Like it's okay to fail. The game encourages failing. You will learn as you go along.
That's when you tweak your shit.
Yeah, and that's how you figure out what works for you. So the game, the big hooks of the game are the gun crafting and the shooting the aliens throughout the room. And I had the most fun kind of making weird ass guns. Like they joke that you make a 40-barrel shotgun if you wanted to that goes across the whole screen. And I'm sure as you go along, you'll unlock more and more. Like the sockets right now, the biggest socket I have, the connectors, is 3. I'm sure they have 4s and 5s and 6s and different things as you go along. And they're adding a bunch more later on in an update. And I can't wait for the co-op. Like the online co-op is going to be a lot of fun. I'm interested how they're going to do that with a game like this.
I'd be down to play that with you.
But I know Tubin Monkey, I've been talking to him about it. He's probably going to pick the game up, and it looks awesome. It's out on co-op's out now on PC, but Xbox, it's coming out later.
I had mentioned to you before that it reminded me a little bit of Blasters of the Universe. Blasters is your static position, obviously, because it's VR and it's easier to do that. But like Blasters was very similar in nature, except without the million different combinations. It was a case of you had like maybe 4 or 5 things. Like you could choose like what type of shield you had, what type of ammo you were shooting, what type of barrel you had. Like there was like a lot of different things you could change on the gun. And then oftentimes, like if you were just dying continuously over and over and over, that was like, okay, time to reassess. What am I missing here? What do I need that I don't have? You would go back, change your gun. But you could grind extra in that game to get to the point where you'd be like, okay, I've done this level and I failed 5 times. Now I have 6 more gun options than I had when I started. But you're saying,
and that's where the side missions come in.
Right.
Side missions with the grind.
So you can't grind, but it just has to be on the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that is a cool concept, and it kind of forces you to reevaluate what you need.
Yeah. How much do you think this game is?
I think you already told me, so I know how much it is.
It's $25.
Yeah.
$25.
It's good.
Like, to me, and it was funny when I was playing it, because I didn't know how much the game was. Like I said, I got the key and I kind of just played it, and then I saw a price later on when I was reading the press kit, and I was like, oh shit, like this to me is a $50. It's a $50 game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's quite 60, but it's definitely a 50.
Double A, would you say? Double A?
Oh yeah, easily. The graphics aren't the greatest. They are serviceable. They are what they are, and they don't take away from the game. They're just, you're not getting Uncharted. You're not getting
not blow your mind graphics.
Yeah,
but decent.
But they're what you expect on a PS4 game.
Right.
So I had a lot of fun. The explosions are a lot of fun to play with. The enemies are a lot of fun. There's some annoying enemies that the flying ones are really hard to hit sometimes with a controller.
Well, that's what enemies' jobs are, to be annoying.
So. But I really recommend Mothergunship. It's out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Again, PC already has.
See it on Switch?
No.
No,
I don't think
you can handle it.
I don't know if it'll be able to handle it.
Hey, Wolfenstein, Shadows of the Colossus.
Yeah, but Wolfenstein was degraded.
That's the wrong name. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, maybe.
But co-op is out on PC and it's coming in August on PS4 and Xbox One.
Sweet.
Announced for free. So.
I will play with you. It sounds good. You sold me.
Next one we're going to talk about is a little bit different. So this is when I recorded. This is how my mindset went. So I went from shooting all these crazy alien things with crazy ass guns to Path of Motus, which is a game about a coming of age story with undertones of bullying and kind of perseverance.
I mean, they could be like back to back. Like if you play Path of Motus first,
I want to know.
You could imagine that when you finally became like adult in Path of Motus, that you took your revenge on the bullies.
I went the other way.
Then having a mother.
I went the other way around though, and I was like, I had an emotional roller coaster there. It was like, oh god. So Path of Motus, basically the gist, the elevator pitch is you are Motus, this little goblin that lives in a village, and people before him have tried to leave his village through this forest. Every time they tried to leave, they failed and always would come back. I'm assuming. I don't think anybody dies in the game. They never really say, but I'm assuming they come back because it starts with your grandpa talking about your dad who tried to go and never made it and came back and all this kind of stuff. But I don't know where Dad is. Maybe we'll find Dad later on. Who knows?
Maybe he didn't come back.
Maybe he did.
He's in the forest somewhere.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him in the game. But anyway, so the gameplay mechanics of the game are, it's a platformer, and you do shoot different little enemies that are spouting words at you. And there's actually one guy that's a complete asshole you meet at the beginning that just like tells you you're never going to be anything, which is a perfect setup for what this game is. And then to shoot the enemies, you correspond the buttons. I was playing on PlayStation. Yeah, PlayStation. I was like, was I playing on PlayStation? Green is triangle, red is circle, and then purple square. Yeah.
Did they have, for color blindness, they had the shapes though as well, right?
Nope.
I'm pretty sure they did in the trailer.
I didn't find it in the settings. So during the tutorial they had it. But once you finish the tutorial, those shapes are gone.
It's just colors after that? That's interesting.
Yeah.
That should be an option.
Yep.
They should have that in if it's not in there.
Yeah, I agree. So that's one of the premises. You're kind of going through and jumping around and shooting these guys to advance. The other thing you do is you build bridges and solve puzzles. Well, not always. Most of the time it's a bridge. And you solve puzzles. Sometimes you're lifting a platform, whatever it may be. But the way it works is there's just a bunch of dots on the screen with numbers on them. And you have a paintbrush that connects these dots together. And say the dot has number 5, it has to have 5 connections to it. And holy fuck, some of these get real complicated. There's one, you'll see it in the gameplay, where I sit there and I almost cut it out. Like I put it in the notes to cut it out, and I never did. I'm just like, what the hell do I do?
People need to see the struggle.
Yeah, what do I do? And then all of a sudden I got it, and I was like, oh, I did it. Like, it's just that moment of like, because I would do it, and I'd just kind of like, because the first few are easy. The first puzzle you come across, there's a 2, a 4, and a 2. It's the one you see in the trailer. So you put 2 lines, there's 4 in the middle, they're connected, you're done. Okay. The next one I saw, or one of the next ones I saw was like, it was a 5, a 5, a 5, an 8, an 8, an 8, a 5, a 5, a 5.
Fuck.
And I was like, okay. So then you find yourself going through and like, okay, this has to be this, this has to be this, this has to be
this.
this.
Did you stop playing to just kind of sit there and stare at it for a minute?
Well, I didn't sit there. You stop and you go, okay, so this one has 4, this one has 4, but if I move that one there, what's going to happen to the rest of them, the domino effect? The hardest one for me was, so throughout the game, there's these different places you can go into, and there's notes left throughout the world, which I really love. Shout out to the guy's name is Michael Hicks, made the game by himself. Wow. And yeah, it's... Well, there's the guy who helped with music, but I think he did majority of like the game itself.
It's always impressive to me.
Yes.
That's a lot to take on.
So he has notes throughout the world that kind of give you backstory and explain like what's going on, feelings, all this kind of stuff, and how you'll never be good enough. And the beginning of the game, you start in your childhood, so your feelings are different than as you go on through the game. I've not finished it. I've not done adolescence or adult, but I'm excited to. But the hardest puzzle for me was you go into a tree, like a treehouse type thing, and it's just this bonus area you can go to, but there's a puzzle on the wall, and I was like, what does this unlock? Like, you can see a bridge as you can go across, but there's gaps, so clearly you have to build a bridge. So I go do it, and it's a 1, a 3, a 1, a 2, and then like a 5, 6. Like, it's a lot going on, and you'll see in the gameplay, if you look it up, there's one puzzle, when you see it, you'll know. And it's like, you literally go through and like, that has to connect to this, that has to connect to this, because there's no other places to connect. But then you realize you can connect across to another section. You're like, fuck, that there's a whole wrench in it, and it's just a lot of trial and error. But I emailed Michael when I finished playing it, like the moment after I finished, I go, dude, this game is like, I didn't have high expectations, I'm not gonna lie. It looked cute, it looked clever. I didn't think it was gonna, and this is prefaced as I love puzzle games, as you know. They may not know.
Not very good at them, but you love them.
I'm all right at them. I'm almost fucking beat Limelight.
You're better than me.
Yeah, Mr. Bomb Defusal. How'd that go?
Not great.
Yeah.
I can press buttons.
But I emailed him. You can't solve the puzzles. But I emailed him and said, hey, I thoroughly enjoyed, like I finished the childhood section, thoroughly enjoyed this way more than I thought I would. And the aha moments of getting the puzzle solved and having the notes throughout the world. It's not an overly complicated game. It's not going to be anything that's going to be like mind-blowing, but it's one of those games that when I sat down, and I'm going to go back and finish it because A, it's not very long.
How long?
Well, there's 3 sections. So the section I played took about maybe an hour. Okay. So I'm going to say probably 3 to 4 hours. Yeah. Depending on how good you are at puzzles.
Probably gets harder. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's one of those games that like, again, the palate cleanser of like, okay, I'm not playing Overwatch right now. I'm not playing Rainbow Six Siege. I want to get like these cool, quirky. My favorite part of the whole fucking game is the music.
Okay.
Music was nailed.
Really?
The cheerful nature, the voiceover, all that shit was perfect. Like, you could tell there was time spent.
Was it dedicated to the era, or was it kind of new and updated? Was it like
it felt like I was watching?
Or?
No, it was not chiptunes. It was newer. It felt like I was watching a kid's TV show.
Oh, cool.
Like that experience of like that joyful, like, you know, when you hear like a game that or see a TV show that's made for like, I'm gonna say like 5 to 8 year olds, maybe a little bit older than that.
Don't
like
watch too many of those, but yeah.
Well, no, but like, you know, the cartoons back in the day, like the cheerful, happy music beats they got going on. That's what I had, and it had definitely
like bears.
Similar. It had like a Legend of Zelda feel too, because you're in a forest. But just the way he did that and the sound effects, like it was just like I don't know what specifically it was that made everything just work.
Just think you did a good
job.
It
just clicked, and I was like, dude, you did great.
Sound is super fucking underrated in games. I think there's a lot of people that tack it on. Like, they're just like, you know, the hard work is the game. And this is something that the common thing we talk about with indie developers, where it's a case of like a lot of the times the game is such a heavy focus for them, and it has to be. But then they forget about everything else. They forget about the sound, they forget about voiceovers, they forget about, you know, marketing, and then the game suffers for it ultimately, because if you take this time, you take 1 year, 3 years, however long. Do you know how long he took to put this together?
I know.
I assume quite a while. He's by himself. You know, I
think
all that.
3 was in the email.
At very least, you want to put a little bit of fucking effort into like finding the right guy to make the music for it, find the right guy to
3 years
create
of
the artwork. Yeah. So for 3 years of your life, fucking do it right. And so I'm glad that they did do it right.
And then
that sounds good.
The last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to read his bullet points for featured gameplay.
Sure.
So your featured gameplay: verbal combat. Motus meets bullies that yell a variety of deadly words.
Do they yell swear words?
No, they just bah. And you have to hit. No, it's a kid's game.
DLC? Oh, it's a kid's game?
Yeah. It's rated E. If you drop the F-bomb, you're immediately going to teen.
I just thought it would be fun.
You need to tactfully use your own words to deal with them. Will you use your words to inspire or to destroy?
Ooh.
Bridge building. There's a reason why no one's made it through the forest. Solve challenging bridge puzzles to build your way out. Growing up. Face unique challenges as Motus gradually grows from child to an adult. Meet the exciting new characters in each chapter of the life and explore the deeper reasons for why they're so aggressive towards each other. Thought doors. This is what I was talking about. I don't know what they actually were called. Solve innovative puzzles that convey what Motus is feeling throughout the story. Unlike other story-based games, the coolest moments in Path of Motus come across non-verbally as you play.
Interesting.
So,
you know what I really like about this, though?
What?
Is that it's not just gamey. Like, there's a point to it. There's a concept to it.
$15 game. You can get a demo of it if you want to as well.
Sweet.
So I highly recommend it, though. Like, it's fucking amazing.
I'll try
it's one of those games, like... I don't want to oversell it in the aspect that, like, this is not going to be your game of the year by any stretch of the imagination, but it is. Music's really well done. The gameplay's really well done. If you like platformers, you're going to like it. The only kind of criticism I really have for it is the controls are a bit stiff. Okay. Like, when I jump, I feel like it's just a burp versus, like, a float.
Gotcha.
But at the end of the day, that really doesn't make a huge difference.
That's easily patchable.
Yeah, the other issue I have, too, is, like, there's one section where there's an enemy over here, and an enemy over here, and I was in the middle of them, and they're both spewing at each other, so you got to kill both of them. So I jump up and try and shout at the one guy.
Can they kill each other?
No. Yeah. So I jump and shout at the one guy, and then I get hit in the back of the head, but I don't feel like I didn't have time to turn around. Gotcha. So what I ended up doing was actually going up and around. Like, I jumped over the dude and then shot that way, which I don't know if that was how it was designed, but that's how I solved that puzzle.
Oh, you figured it out.
But yeah, Path of Motus, rated E10. But I highly recommend. We're actually going to get Bertrand's son, who is 5 years old, to play this game and see. Bertrand's going to help him with some of the puzzles because the puzzles are not easy. But I want to know kind of what his feelings are.
Kids are smarter than you think they are.
Yeah.
Generally. Remember, we didn't think that Eli was going to get very far on Moss, and that dude was almost completed the game.
Yeah.
By himself.
These puzzles are way harder than Moss. They're number puzzles versus environmental puzzles.
No, I love games with concepts, and I especially love games that provoke emotion specifically. Like, one of my favorite games of... I don't remember if it was this year or last year. Man, it all rolls into one. But Far From Noise, where you were just on the cliffside, and it wasn't really a game per se at all. But it was just so, like, emotive in me. It made me feel many things that I wasn't sure I was comfortable feeling.
And that's how this was.
That's amazing.
Especially coming after Mothergunship, where I'm like, let's just shoot everything. And I was like, oh, God, this is a complete 180.
Correlation.
But it shows you how cool indie games are, which is why this podcast exists.
Yup.
So.
Awesome. 2 great games to check out, and cheap, too, which is the second best part about indie games, aside from them being great, is they're usually cheap as well.
We got our spotlight coming up, our question coming up next.
Yeah, 2 of them, in fact.
Question coming up next. We're going to keep it short and sweet because I know we're running short on time, but I got a good question for you.
Looking forward to it. After this.
So our question, I posed it a little bit earlier based on the detail number 4. Do you remember what detail number 4 was?
That was the 20 or 30 games coming to Switch every
So my question, and we're going to make it real quick here because I know we're running long on time because we had lots of games, 2 spotlights, and more spotlights next week, obviously. Is Nintendo going to hurt the indie market on its platform with this announcement?
Define what you mean exactly by that.
Is it going to hurt the indie market?
Is it going to hurt the indie market?
Is it going to hurt the indie market on its platform with this announcement? Assuming they do the 20, 30 games a week. Go.
Maybe is the answer. I honestly couldn't give you a yes or no because it is a case of you'd have to wait and see. But here's the plus and the con to it all, right? So
it's plus and minus or pros and cons.
Whatever. So I make my own rules. That's a plus. So when it comes to indie games, obviously, the more the better, kind of, right? Because, and it sucks to say this as an indie game podcast, but some people just make bad games. And that's okay. Some people make bad music. Some people make bad movies. Some people make bad YouTube shows. But it's like, there's so much time and effort that goes into a game over like an episode of a YouTube show that you almost feel like at very least you have to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge the time and effort that goes into making something, whether it turns out great or not. Most of the time, it's not going to be released on a platform like Nintendo's platform unless it like meets a certain bar of kind of expectation. However, as with Sony, there are always ones that somehow sneak through the cracks. Looking at you, fucking Kung Fu, whatever that thing was.
Kung Fu.
Yeah.
It's been removed.
I know, but like the fact it was there to begin with is kind of like, eh. So I think that in a sense that yes, it's cool because if every single show that we've gone to talk to indie developers, we've said, what do you want to release on? And every single person has said Steam first, then Switch. Steam first because it's fucking easy, and Switch because that's the console.
And also install based on Steam is way larger as well.
Exactly, but also like the Greenlight program is really easy to get into. But releasing on Switch, mostly I think because a lot of people just wanted to have their game on a Nintendo platform because that's what they grew up with, and probably why they're making games, but also because of the mobility of the platform versus a game like a PS4 or Xbox. And I'm sure that everyone would like it to be released on everything eventually, but Switch has really sort of defined itself as the indie console, which is super weird, and I don't think anyone predicted that when they announced it to begin with. I think we all kind of felt like, even though there's a lot of shovelware on like the Wii and stuff, that Nintendo are largely just all about Nintendo. So the fact they've opened up a lot more to these indie developers, and these games have been doing so spectacularly well on the platform, is great. However, 20 or 30 is a lot. And I'm kind of thinking that maybe he was misquoting a little bit. Like maybe he didn't. I
mean, today, how many games do we have?
Not 20 or 30.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm very sure.
Are you sure?
Maybe 10, 15.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm going to count them here real quick.
All right. You can think about it.
We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
18, right, which is close to 20, admittedly. But a lot of those as well, I don't even consider them indie games. Like the Neo Geo ones should be off that palette. They're not indie games. They're just old retro games that came forward. The Johnny Arcade
But an indie
ones,
developer worked on it.
Not at the time. At the time, they were.
I know, but now they did.
Developer.
Well, that's like Crash Bandicoot. Is Crash Bandicoot considered an indie game now? Because an indie team worked on it. It's a AAA IP with an indie game development. I don't
think that counts. I think if you're saying indie games, the game has to be indie. But either way, like yes, they are releasing a fuck ton of games every single week already. How many of those games are worth it or not? That's the problem. That's the thing that I worry about. I'm all for choice. I really am. And I think that Nintendo, like with the Wii U, definitely learned a lot about choice in terms of having any at all. But I also don't want to go too far the other way because what happened with the Wii was the shovelware. And the shovelware was fucking horrendous on the Wii to the point where the market got so oversaturated you really couldn't pick the diamonds in the rough. Like everything was just like blah. Like you look at a game like Path of Motus, that could easily get swallowed up in the midst of all the other shit that was out there. Even though that's a little gem, you know what I mean? So that concerns me a little bit. Like, I don't want to see the actual, like, really solid indie titles get swallowed up. That's why it's so important for our show to exist, where we can point at these ones and say, these ones are the good ones. Go and look at those ones. But I also kind of don't want to begrudge the guys that are just trying to make games from doing it. I do think there's a sort of a level of quality that needs to be expected, and I worry that Nintendo's going to let that slip and it will turn into shovelware. But
I think it's already started because a lot of those are mobile ports.
True. But that's kind of, so that's my like plus and con. Plus is that for indie developers, there's so many of them that want to be able to be released on a Switch. That's great news for them. Minus is that your market's going to get saturated as a by proxy of that, and because of that, your game's going to get swallowed up. That is kind of my thought on it.
I think it's going to hurt, period. The reason being is a couple things. One, main point you made, saturation. Like, it's cool to have your game on a platform, but if your game's on a platform with a list like that of 30, 20, let's say 20 games. Let's go to the low number he said, 20 games. How many people are going to go through and watch every trailer? How many people are going to go through and look at the descriptions? How many people are going to go through and do this kind of stuff? And like, it's going to suck getting your game out there. So it might be exciting to get your game released on Switch, and people here because like all these indie games that are on other platforms are doubling, tripling their sales on Switch. That's not going to happen anymore. You know why? Because nobody's going to know about these games because they're going to be lost in the void of what's going on.
It turns it into basically the App Store.
Yes.
You
so
know what I mean?
the only thing I think Nintendo could do to make this okay Because I don't know about you, but searching on the eShop is not easy.
No, doing anything on
if Nintendo comes in,
their online is so shit.
And I don't think they could do this, but if they came in, remember back in the day on the NES, they had the seal of approval?
I do, yeah.
Bring that back. Be like, we're going to release all these games, but these ones are the ones we at Nintendo are endorsing, which sucks for the other developers, but that just tells me to
work harder to get the fucking seal of approval.
Improve your shit, yeah.
What I mean?
Like, there has to be that level of curation that comes through, and I feel the same thing about Sony. Sony, I think, needs to do the exact same thing. So does Microsoft. Like, Apple needs to do it with the App Store. Like, the App Store has gotten better with, like, showing off, like, here's our favorite games right now, or here's what's new or exciting, or things that are whatever it may be. Like, they need to get that seal of, like, have somebody at these companies, or that's what our show exists for, play these games and say, okay, this game is good. I understand what the audience is for. Let's say the Path of Motus gets the seal of approval. But then these Neo Geo games, like, these games are good, but is it something we want to endorse or promote or maybe put up on the rankings higher? Yes or no? And the problem you have there is legality. Can people pay to get their thing put up? All that kind of stuff.
Which is the weird sort of middle ground that the App Store is in right now. I think that there's a lot of people that consider that basically if Apple chooses you from high on, just goes, you will be successful, then your game's going to make you millions of dollars, and that's why everyone in their ante is making a dollar app to try and get the lucky poke from Apple. But that is concerning.
But I think this is going to be a bad thing in the long run for multiple reasons. Like I said, oversaturation. Even like, here's an example. This week for us, I've got Path of Motus, I've got Mothergunship, I've got, hold on, pull it up here real quick. Moose Man.
We got the Long Reach.
Master Anima, Oh Sir, and Z-Axis. If Nintendo next week says, hey, here's 30 more games, those games I missed this week are just going to get backlogged and it's going to keep going and going and going. And I have an issue with that because the cream of the crop won't come up. And some of the games you have to play to see if you like it. That's just the way it is. Like, you can look at some games and be like, yes, this is shit. There's other games you can look at and be like, maybe. And the maybe games are the ones that are going to suffer the most. The ones
what do you think is a good number for a console? Like, how many games should a console release?
I think 5 to 7 indie games plus maybe 1 to 2 AAA games a month.
I'm thinking like...
So 5 to 7 a week, 1 to 2 a month.
I'm thinking AAA. 7 indies, 2 AA's, 1 AAA.
Well, you couldn't do a AAA every week. That'd be hard. Yeah. But I'm thinking like two a month or 1 a month even for AAA because those last longer. But the indie games, like 5 to 7. And those 5 to 7 are super high standard, super, like, again, the seal of approval type thing. And even if, like, I don't know,
And when we say super high standard, by the way, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to have like the best graphics or anything.
No.
What we mean is that like
look at Path of Motus.
Conceptually interesting or something like that.
Path of Motus from a visual standpoint is very I don't say boring, that's not the right word, but it's very nondescript. It's very much a 2D sprite platform.
Retro sprite.
But the story and the background of that game is what makes it stand out. You don't know that from looking at the art, or you don't know that. We
didn't know about the educational thing until after you did your spotlight, which we learned about where he's actually pushing that game to teachers to help teach about bullying, which is amazing. And that's something that, again, would be completely swallowed up in a sea of games.
So that I honestly think this is a bad idea for Nintendo. I understand they want to support indies, and they are. I think they need to continue doing what they're doing right now.
Do you think it's hyperbolic, though? Do you think he's just throwing out words to make the investors happy? Because just because he said that doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
I want to say no. You know why? Because you know how many, like you said, you know how many indie developers there are out there? You know how easy it would be?
I do also know
But I think if it starts hurting their sales, they'll scale back.
I know Switch is my least favorite thing to edit every week because there's so many fucking games. And it's so hard to find the like art
and imagine that getting twice as many.
We may have to drop that. Or just pick like 5.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, do our seal of approval.
Yeah.
That would be the thing. Like, I've thought about that before.
We just got a new show thing, guys. Yeah.
Seal of approval.
Thanks, Nintendo. We got a new show segment. Seal of
approval. I've thought about that before because, like, we're supposed to go through and the show is basically designed to help you guys find what the good ones are. And I feel like a lot of times that there's just so much junk out there. And I've always been, it's the same thing I say with PSVR. I'd rather have quality over quantity. You can give me 50 2-star games and I will hate them. You can give me 3 to 4-star games and I will enjoy that until I get a 5-star game.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of I look at it, and the question there, and we've brought it up before, is how do you judge a game? What's good? What's bad? It's really subjective.
Yeah,
but
it's art.
But there are games, like, to me, I think no mobile port should come to a console. That's a firm belief I have. If you're gonna make a game, don't do a mobile port. Maybe do a game based off that mobile IP. I'm cool with that.
But nowadays, though, that's so tough to call because mobile games are getting console quality at this point. There's some of them that are coming out, and you're like, shit, I would actually enjoy. Like Lichspiel could have been an iOS game, but it also works out to be a pretty fun indie game on the PS4 as well.
But it was designed with the console in mind.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was designed with the consoles in mind. So keep that in mind. That's kind of how I look at it, is like the cash grabs, the ones that are just like, oh, I'm going to, like, fucking Adventure Capitalist. Great on iOS. That Lost Stories game, perfect on mobile. I don't know if I'd play it on Switch, just because it's a weird concept, but I would love it on my phone.
I wonder if there's a weird correlation between the fact that the Switch is technically a mobile console, that's why people are so, like,
well, PlayStation has them too.
Oh, PlayStation can fuck off, though. They shouldn't be doing it. But I'm saying, like, for Switch, like, there's almost a better argument because it is a mobile device and it's something you can take with you while you play your poop games.
Yeah, I just don't think any personal feeling is I don't think any mobile port should be put on.
Yeah, I'm kind of. There's a few exceptions, I might say, but yeah, you're largely right. I think like Monument Valley would be fun to play on a console.
Even then, you still play it on your phone. Pay the $5, play it on your phone, get the good experience. You're fine.
Switch,
because it's designed with the mobile inside.
Switch is a third of a price of an iPhone right now.
But how many people have smartphones? Yeah, it's a third of the price of an iPhone. Think about Androids.
Yeah, but
the
Monument
Switch
Valley isn't on them.
Can be.
I doubt it.
It can be.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Is it
it's
iOS exclusive? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know about that. So I can't argue.
I'm pretty sure, but I'm not.
I can prove you wrong, Tom, with the internet. Yeah. But no, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this is good or bad for Nintendo? I think it's a horrible idea, personally.
I mean, they're already basically that. We just counted the games. They had 18, right? So I mean, it's they're pretty close to it. And right now, it doesn't feel too bad. Like it definitely. I don't know. It's tough to say because, like I said, every week
it is on Android, Tom.
Oh, great. Every time that I have to go through and I edit this stuff afterwards, like you get to see, like, all the different games, the different trailers, the different artwork and everything, and I have to track all that down. And for the Switch stuff, like, it's so fucking annoying every week because I have to try and find, like, the Neo Geo fucking gameplay and stuff. And so yeah, there's a portion of me that, like, hates Nintendo for this. But at the same time, like right now, it doesn't feel as a gamer too overwhelming. So I think if they kept it where they were, I'd be happier about it.
But you're also early on in life, so the people that miss the good games early on might miss them completely. Like Oxenfreeze are gonna get overlooked and potentially.
No, you're not wrong.
Even like,
but I like your seal of approval idea, or even like a kind of like a best of indie, or even a chart of some kind of like the sales chart versus that kind of stuff.
Well,
like,
you can do sales if it releases that week.
But that's how like lifetime sales and stuff. Like so for
but if it releases that week, you have no sales. Is what I'm saying.
Right, but when you go into like an app store, and you're looking for a new game, one of the first things most people do will be like, what are people playing right now? Like they'll go into the the top charts and like Fortnite or whatever is top of the charts. They'd be like, all right, let's check this out. And if they don't know what Fortnite is, they're going to watch a trailer. They're going to learn about it. There needs to be something like that where basically it's just like, okay, what are some of the highest rated indie games?
But you're
critically acclaimed, award-winning.
But you're still going to lose a lot of people in that aspect because you're going to have this big overwhelming that Fortnite. I mean, look at PS4 and Xbox with GTA 5. GTA 5 stayed in the top. Granted, that's a huge game for the last 4 years. What's preventing an indie game from staying at the top? Like, once it's there, not like, is there a time frame you keep it there?
But if it's up there, it deserves it. You know what I mean? And you just make your list longer. Like the App Store list is like 100, 200, 300 long.
But how many people make it down to 250?
I do.
Yeah, I think you're the rare occasion though. Most people like top 50.
I'll scroll the whole fucking thing, man.
Yeah, you'll go through the whole fucking store.
Until the wheel falls off.
You'll scroll through the whole fucking PlayStation store and not realize there's a filter.
Don't judge me.
I really want to know what you guys think on that. This has been Indie Please Add Details, episode 31, our weekly dip in the world of indie games and indie developers.
It is 31. I was in my head.
Yes.
Is it 31?
Where we discuss the news and our indie excursions throughout the week. We top it all off with the topic of discussion that you can join down in the comments below. You can hit us up on Twitter at Love2GamersSTL or on Discord, link in the description, or Instagram, Love2GamersSTL. You can
icon for everything. Do more.
You can listen to us on your favorite podcast services: Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud,
I don't know.
SoundCloud,
I ran out of ideas.
Apple Podcasts, or you can see our little faces at love2gamers.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This has been, again, Indie episode. Indie, please add details.
If you
episode
dig
31.
it, let us know. We feed off your love.
But thank you guys so much for watching. And as always,
welcome to the second level.
Bye.
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.